Hello, this is Statistical and Geospatial inside YouTube. We are meeting in another lesson number 7, which is about the nature of hypothesis. By the end of this lesson, we shall be able to discuss on the nature of hypothesis and know how it leads to development in the body of science or knowledge. A hypothesis should be specified before research is conducted and openly stated in reporting the results. Why? First of all, it ensures the credibility of the research. It ensures the credibility of the research because it makes the research credible. And if hypothesis changes during the study, this should be transparently reported to avoid misleading the readers. Also, hypothesis establishes a basis for the interpretation of the results because uh, it provides a clear framework to evaluate the results. And this is because research objectives are developed based on the study hypothesis, and reporting the result, we usually look at whether the study objectives are achieved in line with the hypothesis. Without hypothesis, it becomes difficult to know what the study was originally designed to test. Hypothesis keeps research focused. Pre-specified hypothesis guides the research objectives, collection, and interpretation of data. Number D, it prevents bias. Researchers, specification of hypothesis prevent researchers from generating a hypothesis after seeing the result, which can lead to false positive, error type 1 that we're going to discuss, and sometimes can lead to mispresentation, misrepresentation of the findings of the study. B, hypothesis should be able to identify the key abstracts concepts involved in the research. And this one happened by defining the scope of the study because hypothesis is the foundation of the whole research process. It establishes relationships, the connection of the research abstract concept or variables that the study will investigate. All this one can be shown in the hypothesis. It provides a clear goal and their proposed relationships. And also it guides the research because it is the pillar for the research. It helps to unify the methods, the results, and conclusion by providing focus. Also, it ensures testability, which allows to determine whether your prediction is supported or it is disapproved. Hypothesis should be able to identify its relationship to both the problem statement and the literature review. First of all, relationship to the problem statement. A hypothesis can provide a preliminary answer to the problem. It provides potential solution or explanation to the problem. And also, it reduces the problem. It turns the broad problem into specific testable statement that can be scientifically investigated because, and then also it guides the research central idea of the study, giving clear direction to the research. Uh, a relationship to the literature review. Hypothesis is built on the already existing body of knowledge. For example, based on this, we have an example in ecology. Drawing on the theory of adaptation, a hypothesis might be formed as birds of the same species living on different islands have differently shaped beaks depending on the available food source. Here, for example, four of the species of the finch observed by Darwin on the Galapagos Island showing variation of the beak. So when you look here, you have four species. You have Geospiza, Geospiza manirostris, Geospiza fortis, Geospiza parvula, and then you have Cartidia olivaceae. These are different species of the birds of the finch observed by Darwin. When you look at them, they have different beaks depending on their feeding requirements and where they live. Four of the finches species observed by Darwin are the large ground finch. Geospiza manurostris has a massive beak for crushing seeds, and Geospiza fortis, the medium ground finch with a versatile beak for seeds and birds. Geospiza parvula, the small tree finch with a small curved beak for insects. And then the last one is uh, Certidia olivacea green warbler, finch with a slender beak for probing for insects. These big variations are examples of adaptation to different food sources, a key observation for Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection. A relationship to the literature review. First of all, hypotheses can be used to fill the research gap. For example, first of all, this one happens through the following methods. Identify the research gaps. Examples, let us say there is a lack of data on how remote work affects employee mental well-being, especially compared to the traditional office environment. In this case, we can formulate hypothesis, which is saying that employees who work from home will report higher job satisfaction and lower stress levels compared to employees who work in the office. Number three, test the hypothesis. Then number four, when you get the findings, you fill the gap. The result of the study, hypothesis supported. If the hypothesis is supported, then new findings or addition to the body of the knowledge is done. Or if it is not supported or refuted, then providing evidence that either confirms a link or indicates the need for further investigation. Characteristic of hypothesis. Does the hypothesis specify a direction to the relationship between the two variables? For example, as one variable goes up, the other one goes up. As one variable goes up, the other one goes down. As one variable goes up and the other one stays at the same place. So we're going to look at the different type of the direction, that is the directional hypothesis and the non-directional hypothesis. But the question here is that nominal variables could not be used in a directional hypothesis. Why? Because the nominal variable, there's a lack of inherent order or ranking. There is no direction such as higher, lower, more or less. Directional hypotheses are only possible with variables that have clear order, ordinal, and quantitative data can be used for that. Directional hypotheses require order. A directional hypothesis makes a specific prediction about the direction of relationship. For example, more X leads to more Y, or increased X leads to decreased Y. This is only possible if the variables have a ranked order. Another example of an unfitting hypothesis. People with blonde hair are more likely to be hired for customer-facing roles than people with dark hair. There is no scientific basis to suggest that blonde is somehow more or better than dark hair in this context. Thank you to attend and participate in this lesson. See you in the next lesson. Please participate or subscribe to my YouTube.